Hey everybody, it's time for an August 7th garden update. I haven't looked at anything in the garden yet today, so as the first time, we'll be sharing the experience together. I think maybe next video might be later in the day instead of a morning one, but I wanted to do another dawn break one. It's a good time. Gordy's probably going to cry here. I'll be back in 1 minute. Alright, you just be a good boy. Be back in 1 minute. Okay, so we learned that Volunteer Squash here, planted himself, is actually probably, let's see where we got it here. Oh, where did the, oh yes. Looks like his origin story is that he was probably a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin from last year that was over here, and we left it for too long. It kind of fell apart and the seeds went over here and all over here, and he somehow got washed down over there. So it looks like we have some extra unknown pumpkins. The reject squashes I don't take care of very well are, they're here, they're doing fine. They're not very big. I think one of them here, you can see that sawdust stuff coming out of the vine at the base. That's not vine, but the plant at the base. That's squash borer damage. So I didn't take care of these little ones as well because I don't care about them as much and it takes a lot of time. But that's what the squash borer damage looks like. Oh, here's his little. He is able to make some kind of little fruit here. We'll see how big he can make it without any real care or ground setup. I guess they were also partially testers to see how nutrient rich this flower bed the people before me made. And the corn's a good judge. You can see the corn didn't get very tall. It's very yellow, and none of these ones have any silks, so there's not very much nitrogen here. Probably not a lot of other nutrients as well. We have a little hollyhock that Marissa's dad planted for us last year and never told us it was there, so that was a surprise flower that came up. The 3 tomatoes that were extras that I planted here are all doing great. This is an area where you can see that the wild nightshade likes to grow. And tomatoes are in the nightshade family, so, I kind of thought nightshades where the nightshades like to grow. Let's see if it works without, much more thought. It looks like it is. You can see some of the pumpkins I planted in the pear guild here are really, really taking off. What I did here was, I didn't know this, but squashes, pumpkins, and other stuff will actually reroot all the way along the spine, or vine. So you can see here, he's putting out some roots below to try and get down into the ground, become an even bigger plant, and run even more across the yard. So I helped him do that. Over here on this notch, I put some of my personally made earthworm castings underneath the notch he was making to help him grow. And you can see he decided to explode out 3 vines in this triangular fashion from just one handful of the castings. That's how rich he thought and fertile the earth was underneath where I put that. There's a separate one that's not the same one on this side, but it started with a small pumpkin. It's not the biggest pumpkin in the garden right now, but let's see, I planted some onions in here. I don't know if the other ones, doesn't look like any of them really. Are growing. Maybe they put some growth inhibitors on it at the store, I don't know. See another little baby pumpkin there. Open a flower someday and get fertilized. We got some purple beans here. There's a lot more in the garden. These are just, when I chucked handfuls of random stuff into this guild, they just showed up. So And the pear tree is doing very good on his recovery. I need to, as you can see, if we back up a little bit, he grew so many leaves so fast at the top, trying to recover. All the growth hormones went to the ends of the branches, and he weighted himself down. And you can see the middle spine, the middle branch is less affected because it's got offset leaves. It's counterbalancing its own weight, and it's a little bit more straight up and down. So I'm just gonna use some bamboo stakes or some sticks from other trees to get them straight until it can straighten itself out when it's recovered. But it doesn't seem like that febrile leaf spot's coming back, so that's really nice. That's all we care about in the front. Those clovers that I planted next to the French drain, the bunnies love this. They just come, it's like a salad bar. They just sit here all night and just chew on the clovers. And that's great because it keeps them out of my garden. Alright, you're such a good boy, huh? You didn't cry that I was out there at all? Huh? You just barked at another dog? Good boy. Okay, so the coral bells and the Chinese astilbe are all doing good over here. I guess I can give you... I'm still learning how to take a good YouTube video, so I guess a close-up on the plants would be nice. So, some random wildflowers I've allowed to stay here in the lawn. I didn't plant these or these things here, they just grew themselves. And this sunflower surely came from my hands, but I didn't place it here. I'm assuming it washed down the hill with rain or the garden hose and ended up in this crack where it thought it was more fertile. We can see my personal Jaugalon that I've been growing. So, if you remember last video, there was Burley and legs. Burley was fine over here. A lot of him has been buried here, so he grows even more sprouts, and I can break him up and clone him by division. But Legs was attacked by a bunny. We didn't know if he was going to survive in the ground or in the pot. So this is the vine that dried out for a day, hanging with no base, chewed off, until I discovered that this happened. And you can see it doesn't care. It's completely growing back. And then we can go to where Legs was sawed off in the ground, and let's see how he's doing over there. And look at that. I did nothing, and they came back and chewed him down 2 or 3 more times. But just like I keep telling everyone, it makes me so resilient to stress. Even in the growing in the garden, it's also so resilient to stress. You can cut it up, break it up, and as long as you can get that vine back in the dirt, it's going to grow back. Like a weedy invasive plant. I guess that is what you would call it, but I don't believe in invasive plants or weeds. That's a discussion for another time. You can ask me about it. In one sentence, I would say, isn't that how evolution works? Because mint was so strong, it went to New Jersey. But yeah, this is under there's a little vole hole. Voles are rodents that eat your grass in your lawn and your garden. They're kind of like vegetarian moles. So they're kind of cute, and I like them, and they don't really harm me. They don't really they only like certain garden foods, so they don't, I'm not so worried about the diseases. And I also take measures to keep them out of the garden, repellents and all that other stuff, so. Cuban tobacco, looking really great. Decided not to harvest or smoke any more of this stuff. Don't think it was doing great things for me. but still nice to have, pretty to grow. This brown part, this is the seeds, so the more this dries out, the more you can just break it open and bust it out, and those aren't the seeds, those are little flies. You bust these out, it's got like 100 or 1,000 little tobacco seeds in there. Grow your own plant. You can see it's also putting out a new level of flowers after, you know, I let it go to seed and I thought it was going to be done, but it grew up a lot more. Here, some more flowers up there. So the hollyhock, don't remember if I showed this in the last video, doing amazing over here. We planted it next to the fence because it needs wind support. It's going to get 6 feet tall and it's going to get blown over if it doesn't have it. This is the other one. These are some of the either Carnival or Black Beauty sweet bell peppers. I don't remember which. I planted them very early in the spring and they didn't start growing until our first heat wave in the summer here. The guild around the Mount Morency cherry is doing well. You can see we got lots of squashes. Some peas, a couple sunflowers. I only let them be on that side or else they were going to shade all this stuff out because the sun comes from over there. Mount Morency's cherry is doing good. Probably need to fertilize him with a round of Jadam. He's not really putting out any new leaves, but he's not dying either. All this white stuff is the clay that I spray on to protect him, so don't judge by the color or the greenness of the leaves how healthy it is. We can judge kind of by these farthest out leaves. You can see they're curled up a little bit, so he probably actually, well, I'd initially think he needs a little bit more water, but it's raining for the past 3 days. So now I'm going to say he's actually slightly overwatered. And that's what's causing his leaves to be, you know, actually he might not be overwatered. This just might be positive leaf turgor because he likes the rain from the past few days. Plants are kind of confusing. Multiple, you know, I guess like people. You could eat 100 different things that would make your stomach hurt in 5 different ways. But you'd probably all explain it as my stomach hurts. So this can mean lots of different things he's trying to tell us. We have to try and use our brain about what's been happening in the environment recently to take a guess. It's probably not underwatering because it's been raining. So, and I watered him earlier this week. So Rosemary's doing good, getting real bushy. He's loving it in the ground. The longleaf ground cherries, wild nightshade plant that's only got, that's all toxic except for the ripe fruit, has exploded up here. It has lots of little these cool Chinese lantern, I don't know what I'm trying to say, type flowers coned down. You know, you can see in this green one here if the video will focus on it. And so this grew back so bad because they're so quickly. I gotta watch out. There's spider webs everywhere here. They're getting in my hair. I get infinite spiders at this time of year. Anyways, I didn't even know this was an edible plant last year, so I cut this down assuming it was all weeds. And then it never lost its roots underneath, and so it's able to grow back super rapidly. It must have some huge root system. Here's a good, so that's the Chinese lantern looking thing I'm trying to describe. I don't even know if that's the right word, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. Stump garden's doing alright. Stump squash is not super happy. He got attacked hardest by the squash borers, and he also has the least amount of space to grow new roots and stuff, but the newer leaves are healthy. You know, I just need to clip off some of these old ones. I leave them for a while so the plant can build up its immune systems through a limited exposure, kind of like a vaccine. And I'll clip them off in a little bit. I'm wondering if this is going to help them fight powdery mildew when it's time for that time of season. It's coming around very close. cantaloupes finally found their way into the real sun on this side. I did need to help them. They thought they wanted to go that way, but I told them no. If you go this way, you can get all the sun all the way over here, and that guy's never going to catch you. So now that I put them over there, they agree. They want to go that way. And we got... find a good spot for you guys. Let's see here. I know I saw some the other day. I thought they were bigger than that. Oh, there we go. Got some little cherry tomatoes coming in here on top of the tomatoes in the front. Got a butternut back in here. I don't think he's going to do what I want to go up here. I don't think. I think this squash took up most of the space and the nutrients already, so I don't think that butternut's going to really have the growth potential to go up like that. Garden of Time is all looking great. It's almost fully filled out. Except for this guy, I do not know what happened here. I know I clipped some for one of our dinners, and it feels like I maybe clipped one of the main stems, and I didn't think it would do this to the plant, kill it off in the middle. I don't know. We'll figure out what to do with it. No, look at this. This guy fell over. So the sunflower actually grew parallel, then grew up. You know, it looks like he got some kind of crack in his stem over here that now made him fall down. It's pretty big. Should help him out, but not in the video. I'm gonna need more time to creatively think about how I'm gonna stand him back up. Maybe I'll just zip tie him into that cage or one of the other ones, or both. But yeah, well, pretty much every sunflower is in some sort of stage of bloom now. We can see lots of these, you know, when they're drooping down. You can see this one's actually ready to be harvested. This one's going to have some seeds under there. So I'll probably clip this one later. You can see the seeds start to fall out pretty fast after, if you don't do anything, you don't catch them fast enough, they'll just start falling out. Birds, bugs, squirrels, all this stuff starts coming to eat them right away. Which is fine. These weren't designed for food. More just to look nice. I think this one's, I don't know, I scattered them randomly. This one's probably Moonlight. The sunflower, I think Moonlight's the one that's like lighter yellow and does multiple heads. Gordy, get out of there. Come on. Come on. Get out of there. Good boy. So, you know, lots of random ones, some multi-headed ones, some single heads. A little experiment. I clipped the head off this one because it doesn't look like one that makes multiple heads, but I'm wondering if it sits here long enough, it'll try to make one. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's just keeping itself alive and it's not making any more flowers. So I'll probably cut that down at the base and then chop it up and throw it back inside to put the nutrients back at the tree. So you can see it's the tallest sunflower in the garden up there, about 10 feet tall. Yep. Another quite tall one. It's got a little bit orangish. There was a more red one, but it's done now. All the petals fell off, so I can't show it to you guys. The plum tree's just exploding up. That's like, all of those branches are maybe 1.5 feet taller than they started this summer. So he's doing good. He is, oh my god, look at all those beetles. Ugh. Yeah, nasty. Alright, I'm gonna shake this whole tree actually. This is what I do when I don't want to pick them all off individually. Oh, some of them get in your hair and whatever, but it saves me time having to pick off 100, 200 beetles. Just shake them all off there. I need to put that trap back up. It's probably the first thing I need to do today. Lots of pumpkins coming out of the Three Sisters garden, and decided they're going to take over the whole lawn now. And I decided I am going to let them, and even help and encourage them. So I planted Miracle-Gro organic soil under each node where there was a root system developing here to help him explode like the one in the front did. Another little baby pumpkin. I thought I just saw a pumpkin ready to be pollinated. Oh, yeah. This pumpkin's ready to be pollinated by the bees once they wake up. It's a little early for them. I'll be out here in an hour or so. This is like bee central over here. Once the sun comes out, there's like so many bees there. A little extra spare tomato. Hasn't put on any fruit yet, but he's growing fine. Looks like, oh, look at these. These have been hiding from me. I didn't even know these were here. So they're pretty big. Oh yeah, this one's been a little too long. Beans are actually developing, so they're not super great to eat straight up, but I'm gonna do it anyways. You can see this is blueberry tomato. If I showed him in last video, volunteer tomato that planted himself. Just putting out his flowers. It's got some tomatoes coming in down there. It's all good. Butterfly bush is also. Sorry, Chris is going to yell at me because I'm spinning the camera around and I'm not realizing. The butterfly bush is doing great in the ground. King pumpkin's doing good. I thought I wanted him to be up and be a fence pumpkin because people on Reddit said you can do it. Until I realized they like to put the roots back in the ground, and I'll have a way stronger plant if he can just get back in the ground. Looks like that one was pollinated yesterday, I think. So he's going to go back in the ground. King pumpkin. Cornfield. A couple feet taller than me. Got some corns coming in here. All over the place in various stages. I need to fertilize them with the high nitrogen fertilizer again. You're supposed to do it when the corn start growing, I believe, but I didn't do it yet. This garden's really good for them, but so they probably don't need it immediately. But my patio tomato that I did a science experiment to let him reroot himself all along his spine and be like tomatoes used to be. It's going great. Got a tomato there. Tomatoes here. Tomatoes here. Tomatoes here. And the really nice thing that I think this is working really well is because you let him put all his roots all along the spine in here. I don't have any problems with his tomato having inconsistent watering. It doesn't do splitting, cracking, zippering, all these things that the tomatoes do that you don't want because of inconsistent watering. I think because it's able to distribute the water more effectively through the spine, through all the different root points, and because it's used to being a ground plant across the whole stem, it actually helps it balance out water. It's been raining for days and none of these tomatoes have any cracks. So Whew, I don't know what that was. Oh, cough and a sneeze. Anyways, patio tomato I bought from the store is doing good. Another sugar pie pumpkin coming out for the lawn invasion. Blueberries, both plants are doing good. The other one never had any blueberries. This one's running out. Almost over. Got another extra tomato here that's doing good. All the blackberries are doing good, and that one's trying to get in the lawn. He's one from the store. I don't know if he's going to actually do that, put over at the tip. I imagine the ones they sell at the store are designed to be not invasive. But I don't know for sure. Blackberry Chester is what that guy is, if anyone wants to look it up. Let's see here. Potatoes, all doing very good. If you guys didn't know, potatoes actually make a fruit. So they don't just grow between the ground and clone by division and stuff like that, making a new root system. They will also flower, and if they get pollinated, they'll make a potato fruit. It's got seeds in there that you can grow a new potato plant, but it's not a potato. Some garlic. I planted as a bulb here. It split itself up and grew into a bunch of plants. I need to split these up now. There's a piece of grass in there. I need to split these up now and bring them somewhere in the garden. You can see these garlics that I put in with the potatoes. Really like it. These were just, you know, you have garlic in your kitchen and one sprouts a little. I just chucked it in here with the potatoes and now it's this big. And it helps repel animals because we're like the only thing that likes to eat garlic. Savory lavender is doing great under there. We need to eat this more, I guess. Now it's kind of big enough to eat. Extra tomato and basil are looking good. This volunteer butternut squash made a whole butternut squash. Actually, we have it out here because when you harvest the butternut squash, you need to cure it. I think you can do it in the oven or you can do it with sunlight for a few weeks. But it needs to be cured before, so it increases the storage of it. So it's out here sun curing for, you know, it's only been a day or two. It's going to need a couple, like 3 weeks pretty much. If you want to hear why, I'm going to argue that mint should be in my lawn and it should be allowed to go there because it is strong enough and that is how evolution works. You can come ask me. And I'm going to have orange mint, peppermint, apple mint, lemon mint, berries and cream mint, I think is, which guy, where are you, berries and cream? No, you're over here, on the side here, and, looks like somebody came last night, the first night I put the chocolate mint in, and stripped him all the way down, except for this one. But it really doesn't matter, because mint's going to grow back. Mint's going to grow back so aggressively, it's going to be like nothing even happened to it. And that's why mint belongs in my lawn. Okay. The decorative planter is doing great and exploding. We got some really nice flowers that are going to come here someday. We got lots of lemongrass growth. The blood orange citrus tree is doing great. I got a little ill. I was in the hospital for a few days, and some of the plants didn't get watered. This guy needed so much water every day. Super, super thirsty. And I wasn't here to do it, so his whole vines died, but I think I pruned them all back. This is kind of how these fuchsia plants work. Now that I did that, he's going to just resprout all new green branches because he couldn't support all the existing mass without that much water. But he's not dead. He can just regrow everything if he has enough time. Moss rose flower. Looking very nice. The ones I grew last year had a lot better aroma. I don't know why these ones don't smell as strongly. It's very, very faint, even though the plant's way bigger and stronger. Maybe it's like dill, where it actually needs nutrient-poor soil to have best aroma and flavor and such. This is the mammoth basil. If it started in spring like it should, it wasn't an old seed and it didn't get eaten down by pests, it'd probably be all the way up here by now. But we'll do it next year. And I'm going to have giant fennel as well, which is going to be, I think it's like 15 to 18 feet tall. Insane. Think about a fennel you bought from the store, but think about it like 10 to 15 feet tall. It's not for culinary use, because when it's that mammoth one's not, I think it might be slightly toxic, but it'll be for the caterpillars and the butterflies and all the pollinators in the area. They'll have like 15 to 18 feet of fennel in ideal conditions to reproduce on, feed on, stuff like that. Celery root regrown from the store is doing great. It loves it. Very hardy. Chamomile needs to be harvested. You pull off all these flowers when they first open. Should do that today. Monster beef zucchini, so named just right now, because he's the only zucchini in my garden that built buff arms like a bodybuilder. He made a super fat zucchini that I clipped last night. Sent a picture to you guys. It was probably the biggest one that was in that picture, although I can't remember for sure. Concord, great blackberry and raspberry cuttings all haven't shown any above ground growth yet. That's funny. He put roots in. Maybe he wants the whole thing to be buried. Okay, or maybe I did it upside down or something. Who knows? Maybe that's why it's doing. Maybe I did them all upside down by accident and I didn't even know it's sided. Let's see here. He's still battling something. He's not dying. He's still oozing every week or so, and the copper seems to help but not take it away. He probably needs more Jadam in this soil to get rid of some kind of bacteria in this soil he doesn't like, replace it with a better, probiotic community there. Strawberries are going good. We got lots of them. Lots of them everywhere, in all different stages. My little thing here did not work. The voles just found a way to squeeze underneath it. I thought they wouldn't do it because it's sharp and it'll cut them, but they just did it anyways. So I need to fix that too, but I'm not worried. My primary purpose for this strawberry and this strawberry this year was to let them in the lawn as well. You can see they send down runners and they'll reroot. You can see all over in here they have everywhere you see these, it rooted itself down there and then grew up. Rooted itself down there and then grew up. So I'd like it ideally to be in my lawn after many years, like a set of wild strawberries in my lawn. Used to be like that where I would go camping when I was younger. The yarrow's doing great. Those little microgreens that I planted here are no longer microgreens, but a full-grown salad. Let's see here. Not entirely sure what kind of squash this is going to be yet. We can see he put out his first fruit. I'm guessing that's either going to be a butternut or a spaghetti. But we're going to have to wait and see. See if bee just went in there, so that one's going to be pollinated on its own. I started the year by pollinating everything, and then there's so many bees now I don't bother, because I can't even walk up to a flower and not see a bee already in there pollinating it. So my job is done here. I've brought enough bees. The garden is going to run itself from that aspect. Yeah, the bean field's looking great. It's going to be putting out some beans soon. This volunteer tomato I told you all guys about does really get 1 hour of sun, like I said, and is an insane tomato. As you can see, he's going way harder. But he's not the tomato I thought he was. As we can see here, I thought he was a cherry tomato, but these are already too big and too oval to be a cherry tomato. So I actually don't know. Maybe he's a Roma, maybe some kind of teardrop tomato, VF tomato. I don't know. Not what I thought it was, not how I thought it got here. But it's definitely hardy. Whatever it is, I want to figure it out, because look at how many tomatoes it's putting out in a single hour of sun. You've got tomatoes down there, tomatoes over there, tomatoes over there, tomatoes over there, tomatoes over here. You've got all those flowers. This thing's going to probably produce the most tomatoes in the entire garden, with also receiving the least amount of sun in the whole garden by a long shot. Now, how does that work? I want to know how that worked, because everyone online tells me tomatoes need 6 to 8 hours of sun. Do it this way. And I find if you just let the plants do what they want, they're going to surprise you. Another thing I heard online, sweet potatoes are good. Potatoes are good. Pineapple sage is doing great. And the purple sage doesn't even want to compete. He's like, I like the shady side, take it. I'm not going to try and grow bigger than you. And lots of people online, like I was just saying before, have been saying how they're struggling with peppers this year. So anyone growing peppers will tell you they like the heat, the sun, they like a lot of sun, a lot of heat, all these things, whatever. Well, Tell me where my peppers are in here. Okay, you probably can't even see them until I point them out. Okay. This is one of my peppers. Another one of my peppers. Here's another one of my peppers. Okay. And what I found is, despite what everyone tells you, where the other guy is, I suppose. Anyways, doesn't matter. My point is, I'm not having any struggle with my peppers. They're doing fine. They don't want more sun and they don't want more heat. In fact, they want to hide underneath those big broadleaves where it's cooler. Everyone says probably the temperature's going up and down more and they don't like it these days in the climate. And I'd say I agree, probably. And that's why you shouldn't just listen to Google and do whatever it says, because put the plant somewhere you don't expect, like next to a squash, next to a pepper. No one tells you to do that. And see what happens and learn about it. And you're going to find that actually sometimes peppers like to be in the shade if the climate is going like this. I think it's all a hypothesis, but we were wondering why they wouldn't come up to get more sun, and I think it's because they want the shade. Except for this guy, he's put out enough peppers below there now that he's decided he needs a little bit more sun. Now he's going to compete for the sun that he needs. Before, he liked the cool environment, the protection of the squash, but now he says, need a little bit more, guys. I know how to grow taller than you. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my evolution to get the sun that I need when I wanted it. Butternut's trying to get all the way out here and invade the lawn, and again, I'm going to let him. He's got that one there. He's got some more hidden back here, all the way snaking through the garden. I'm not going to climb in there right now to show you guys. Oh wow, look at these beans are even bigger. Looks like these are just going to become dried beans or something. I don't even see those. They're just, some of the stuff just sneaks up on me and grows without me finding it. Not going to really see it in the video, but the scallions are getting so tall. They're probably like 3.5 feet tall now. This pumpkin's doing the same thing as the butternut over there, only he's got this big old pumpkin on there. Like I said, every squash that's a sprawler in the garden is getting the node booster, I'll call it. This guy went in the ground way after the purple one, so he's not doing as well yet, but if you saw him a week or two ago, he's doing way better than he was before. Not really any zucchinis, as you guys at work know. I harvested those all last night. These tomatoes are doing great. Do we have any? Yep, we got some tomatoes on there too. So I'm going to have tons of sauce with so many different kinds of tomatoes this year. But it's looking like they're all going to come in fall, and I don't care. Everyone wants their tomatoes now because they planted them now, but I'm going to let the plant do what it thinks it needs to do in the current climate, and I think it's going to give me more tomatoes than everybody else. I'm just going to let it be. So we got some more side sunflowers, You just kind of scattered these on the side here and all along the fence, I did it everywhere. And you can see how much the voles, the slugs, the birds, the squirrels took. Some rotted, some didn't grow. And now you can see I planted a heavy density all the way around this entire fence perimeter. And you can only see that only some of them made it through. Kramer's Reds are doing good. They need a little bit of clearance, breathing room on the sides here. I'll do that when I get to it. Probably this weekend. These peas that got attacked by the bunnies last time are recovering. They're, finally big enough to kind of go up this trellis a little bit. Another volunteer tomato I didn't plant growing out of the side of the patio there. This is another really big sunflower that just like I planted this, you can't even see it, it's taken over so hard, you can move it. I planted this rock garden perimeter around the edge. You can see it over there. It extends all the way. And this sunflower found its way in there and found its way to the bottom through the landscape fabric. Presumably, he's got a huge root system to be taller than me. Anyways, the curly leaf saber basil's coming in great, super bushy, getting really tall, even though it's in a small little planter that's close together. Let's see what else we got here. This parsley's getting bushy again. This is the best parsley I've ever had in my life. I don't like it. Literally tastes like a little bit of citrus, a little bit of herbal-y, a little bit of vegetable-y. It's nothing like you can get from the store. Another volunteer tomato. Here's the mother chicken hen plant I was telling you guys I missed in the last video. So you can see like all these little pieces will come out, split off, and become runners. So they'll try to get out and start putting root systems along the place where it's connected to the main plant. And then it will do something like this where it'll end up in the ground with its own root system. It'll detach itself in the middle here, or fall out, either way, and regrow itself. And that's how it propagates, because this main plant dies every 2 or 3 years. I don't remember exactly how long it is, but so it needs to constantly be sending off runners of new plants because it's not going to survive for too long. You know, people ask me how I have to care for my moss wall, so I just want to show you guys. I've done literally nothing to this at all. It's the last time I talked to you guys, and it's fine because that's how moss works. It's not really like a plant. It doesn't need water to live. If there's not enough water, it will go dormant until the next time there is water, and it can, stay in that condition pretty much indefinitely. As long as not too much sun kills it with UV radiation, or you don't put some chemical on it that kills it, you can just leave it there and it'll do nothing and survive. And so you can see it's browning up a little bit because moss has different levels. That one there is able to tolerate the light from this light bulb, but these ones here, probably aren't, and or they just dried out because when I ripped them from their native spot in the Adirondacks, the edges, you can see it died at the edges, but not in the center. So that might be it for the garden update. I guess we can do this one more thing. I'll show you this while I'm on the way over there. The lilac plant's still doing great here. It's quite a slow grower, so it doesn't look that much different than last time, but it does have some new leaves, a little bit new branches. This is what I'm really excited about. This 4-in-1 cherry tree is growing new leaves now. So this is the first set of new leaves, full set of new leaves on any of these 3 cherry trees I bought since I transplanted them. And Google tells me it's supposed to be faster than this, that I should see new growth, but as I'm learning, Google's usually not right, because either that guy didn't know or the information's taken out of context. So, it's great for someone to say this is how it works for cherry trees, but in reality, if you have a different humidity, you have different amount of sun, you have different kind of soil, you planted it differently, all these variables are different from whatever that guy was expecting on the other end of Google. It's probably not going to work for you because you don't have the understanding of why he did that in those certain environmental scenarios. Scallion border works great for making food, but doesn't really repel rodents at this density. Anyways, maybe if you staggered them way closer, then they can grow efficiently together, like bunching onions, and you had like an actual thicket of onions they had to go through, maybe it'd work better. But a lot of stuff is an experiment this year to learn. This is what I presume is a pumpkin that again planted itself, because I used to have a bird feeder hanging in here, and I had some bird seed in there that had some kind of squash seeds that I think were a mixture of pumpkin. You see it's sprawling, and zucchini, you can see it's doing a bush type thing here and here instead of sprawling. So Anyways, I think it's about time that I get to some real work after I point to you guys the little borage seeds here that I just saw. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call that good for this garden update, and stay tuned for the fall. I predict you are gonna see a lot of this everywhere with a ton of pumpkins, but we'll find out. I'll let you guys know. Thanks for watching.